Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In today's episode, we're going to do a couple of things. We are going to answer a question from a member about the program, and that is the program suitable for newbies or is it suitable for more advanced bookkeepers? The question relates to if you're a new bookkeeper starting out in your practice and you've got no clients, okay? So I'm going to answer that question in the podcast, and I am also going to explore the customer journey. If I sound excited about the customer journey, it's because I do get excited about the customer journey. One of the reasons for that is that when we really look at the customer journey and say it out loud or write it down, we can understand the different things that we need to have in place to find and onboard and retain our clients without price as a priority, right? So there's lots of moving parts, but it all relates to the customer journey. So please don't miss this podcast. I'm really thrilled to present you with this content and answer this question from a member, and I am very grateful for the question.
I'm Jeannie Savage, the Strategic Bookkeeper. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, author, speaker, trainer and coach. After 13 years in practice and after scaling into a lifestyle business where I could choose my own adventure, I'm sharing my secrets to success, my secret sauce recipe on how to build a thriving practice, delight your clients and ultimately live your dream on your terms. This podcast is a companion to my book. In each weekly episode, I'll share strategies for scaling and success. This is your time to shine, to step up, to become a strategic bookkeeper and enjoy all the benefits it brings to you and your clients.
I am interrupting this podcast to make a very special announcement, and that is the doors to the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program will open August 1. Lots of people have been asking me, and I am announcing it right now. August 1, if you're on the wait list, you'll have the opportunity to join. I want to ask you, are you ready to move from being busy to thriving, from being a bookkeeper to being a strategic bookkeeper? Are you ready to come into a community that will support you and lift you up to build the business and life of your dreams? Because I'm ready to hold your hand every step of the way and help you go from strength to strength. And I tell you, there is no better time than right now. So to celebrate the launch of the transformation program, there are foundation member bonuses. Celebration bonuses I've been dreaming about giving my foundation members for 3 years as I've built this program for you off the back of my 13 years in practice. Now, if you join the waitlist, if you're not already on it, at thestrategicbookkeeper.global /waitlist, easy, you're going to get all the details of the program, okay? I have built this program for every bookkeeper, like that years ago. I started building it for every bookkeeper. And actually, I decided to price the program for every bookkeeper, okay? And it comes with a money-back guarantee, my heart's desire to help bookkeepers. I want to help you very much to play your strengths, okay, by supporting you in the things that you might not be as good at, yeah, which is often like the businessy stuff. And I'm talking about sales and marketing collateral as well as end-to-end standard operating procedures, okay? But like I said, join the program waitlist so that you get all the details. There's so much. And there is a whole podcast dedicated to this. I want to help you build a thriving practice, delight your clients, and ultimately live your dream on your terms, okay? That is the income and lifestyle you want and deserve. So this is exactly what I've done in my practice, and now it's my heart's desire to help you do exactly the same thing. Hello, my friends. I thought I would jump on and answer a question that's been posed about the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program. The doors open August 1. So if you are listening to this podcast when I record it, there is definitely not much time left until the doors open. So please do jump on the wait list so it reserves your spot. We don't have never-ending capacity, and it doesn't oblige you by joining the list, but it does allow you to get the information about what's inside and reserve your place in the queue. So I'm going to read this question out, and it was, will your program be good for those just starting out without clients, or is it more advanced? The short answer to that question is that the program is going to be fine for bookkeepers starting out with no clients. Okay, so yes, the program is suitable for you. If you're at the beginning of your journey like this bookkeeper who asked this question, then the program is going to be great for you. But let me explain a little bit more. So thinking back to the beginning of my journey, I was pregnant. So it was a while ago, right? So it was about 14 and a half years ago. I think actually, yeah, so I think I was pregnant, and I was making the decision on where I would send my career, because I had decided that I did not want to go back into the workforce, and I felt like I had a couple of options. So I was actually considering at the time going into recruitment and buying a recruitment franchise. Because I have done that, and actually that's a service that I offer up to my clients in my bookkeeping practice, which is a succession service, right? It's what's next on the menu for my beautiful VIPs to solve more problems. But then I thought that's going to be really hard around baby. I'm going to be on the phone all the time. And then the other skill that I really had was around accounts and admin and bookkeeping, right? So long story short, I decided to do bookkeeping way back, well over 14 years ago. I knew that as a mum it would be flexible in terms of working around my child, that I wouldn't be at the mercy of having people in front of me if my child was crying, and all those wonderful things for a mum, okay? Boy, do I wish I had the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program when I started out as a bookkeeper, because if you've read my books, I had to get cracking and muddle my way through and make all the mistakes in my first 5 years that I call fuck up years. So if you're a bookkeeper at the beginning of your journey, just like I once was, let me talk to you about why the program is suitable, what the primary benefits are, and importantly, how to get a return on investment out of it, because that's important, right? I give you a money back guarantee that you're going to be able to make more than the program fee structure. So when I talk about the benefits of the program generally and the features, do you know I love to think about the customer journey, because I like to think about everything that happens in our business, from generating some demand for what we do right through to the delivery of the services and all the other back end things that have got to happen, right? So let's think about the customer journey and the benefits to the new bookkeeper, because that's what this question is. If I'm at the beginning of my journey, no clients at all, is this the right course for me? And it is, yes, but it is also ideal for a bookkeeper in practice. But I think when I explain the customer journey and the benefits, that will be quite apparent, okay? So you're a bookkeeper offering your bookkeeping services. Now, the customer journey, if we think about that, so we've got a market out there, let's say they're business owners, and they're running their businesses, and so therefore they need to do their bookkeeping and compliance. Bookkeeping is a profession driven by an actual compliance need, which is excellent. So basically those business owners have a couple of options. They can either try and do it themselves, or they're going to have to get someone to do it for them, right? And if they're a small business, which is generally what bookkeepers serve, they're not going to hire in-house help because they only need, an hour or two, sometimes even half an hour a week, or they're not sure what they need, but they don't need enough that they could go and get an employee, right? Therefore, their options are DIY or get it done for me. So when a business owner is ready to make a decision to look for help for bookkeeping, how does that happen? Well, one of the ways it happens is they are doing their own bookkeeping and they hate it, or they're just leaving it and they're not doing it, and things pile up. So, thinking about the problems they're going through, they finally decide, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get this bookkeeping up to date. I'm just going to reach out and try and find someone who can do it for me. Okay. Or somebody is doing it, but they're missing deadlines. They're breaking promises. One way or another, they're not happy with their current solution, whether that's the fact that they're DIYing it badly, as in not really doing it, or their current bookkeeper is dropping the ball and breaking promises, or they took their bookkeeping to their accountant who said, goodness gracious, this is a dog's breakfast. You need to seek some help. Okay. So somehow in the customer journey, the desire and the need comes up. Yeah. Now, what does that person do? What does that prospective client, that person in the market do when that happens? Well, they either go onto Google, they Google Bookkeeper, or more often than not seek a referral. So they then ask the accountant, for example, well, do you know anyone? Or they ask their friends, family and business buddies, or they more often than not go on social media and ask all their social media friends, like post, does anyone know a good bookkeeper? Okay. Now, once they use one of those methods in order to find a bookkeeper, then I might mention just like there are so many ways that when they have a need, they can find you. But an example of a really cool one we've been using lately is our 𝑤𝑖𝑡℘𝐵𝑒𝑡ℎ𝐃 podcast. So speaking to a prospective client the other day, and I said, how did you hear about us? And I already kind of knew from my assistant that they'd come through the podcast, but this prospective client said, do you know what, Jeannie? I'm not quite sure. I know that you came up in my feed and I've been listening to your podcast. So it's just another example of we're always investing in, for the tribe, what great welcome lines, and the Better in Business podcast is actually being built for the long-term purpose of driving business to our strategic bookkeepers. So that's an example. So when somebody in the market has a need, somehow you need them to be able to find you. So if you're a bookkeeper at the beginning of your journey, you need a way to attract new clients, okay? And if we're looking at that beginning of the journey, then you are going to need to create an online ecosystem which conveys your brand, okay? Customer journey is, let's say that the accountant says, well, Sally Smith is a bookkeeper we know and we find her work very good. We would recommend that you consider Sally Smith, right? I can tell you right now that the current customer journey in this current tech and economic landscape is they don't tend to ring Sally directly. They go online to check Sally out. Now, before the pandemic, actually that was different. There was a lot more direct action, but the pandemic changed everything, okay? So the customer journey is such that no matter how they find you, even if it's through personal referral, they're going to want to go online and check you out, okay? So in terms of the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program, how does it help with that? The Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program is going to give you so much in terms of that and then everything beyond that. So I'm going to touch on it and then keep going with the customer journey. So in terms of your online presence, you know what? When I built this program, and I'm still putting the finishing touches as we do this podcast and just final brush strokes on everything, I imagined this bookkeeper at the beginning of their journey with no website and no social media and no clients, And I thought, what could I do that would give them something immediately to make all of this easier? So what I've done is I've developed a brochure that is like a really powerful digital asset that you can use immediately for client attraction. But if you are thinking, Jeannie, you were just talking about online, yeah? What's a brochure going to do there? Well, the brochure, like if I give you a really good brochure and explain how you just pop your branding into it, update a few things and run with it, that brochure, along with a whole lot of other collateral and assets I give you, while keeping it simple, because I want to avoid overwhelm, right? I want to help you take action quickly, yeah? So that brochure is a brief for a website designer. So if you do or don't have a website, so if you have a website, you might need to renovate it a bit, right? The brochure serves to help you with that. If you don't have a website, yeah, the brochure is going to serve as a brief for the web developer. Okay, I have tested this in the market. I have gone and developed our social media before renovating our website, and it worked brilliantly. So the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program is going to save you a lot of money and save you a lot of time in terms of making sure that you've got the online presence, and we give you a library of social media templates, I mean hundreds, and then show you how to build and manage your social media presence in a way that doesn't take you hardly, like no time at all, because social media is a part of the know, like and trust. It's not a part of direct sales, okay? So as a new bookkeeper, we're going to help you make sure that you've got that part of the customer journey nailed, because that's what will help to create a pipeline of leads, all right? And then the next part of the customer journey is that once they check you out online and verify you and your credibility and get to know, like and trust you, they're going to reach out to you and say, I'd like some help. And then you need to do the needs analysis. We've got that all done for you and we train you. Then you're going to need to do a proposal for services. Now, if you're a new bookkeeper without the right support, then you're going to need to make sure that you've got all the productized services and a killer pricing strategy. That means when you onboard that new client, and it means you actually do onboard that new client without price as a priority, with price being secondary, you know, there is the potential that you would make 2, 3, 4 times the profit or more, the sky's the limit, by using the strategic bookkeeper's way that we give you in the transformation program, okay? So way back when I was a brand new bookkeeper, I didn't understand all this, you know, and if I had all of this collateral and the ability to find, onboard and retain a client without price as a priority, okay, then the way I went about it and the profitability would have been just completely different. It would have been like not having to do those first 5 fuck-up years, right? So I just want to pivot to return on investment for a minute. So let's say you've used the transformation program for those parts of the customer journey. Then now I want you to assess what the value of that would be as you onboard that client. I would suggest that if you are onboarding a new client, you're going to be able to onboard them as a regular recurring monthly client, and you're going to be able to charge out somewhere between $4,000 and $15,000 for your services, okay, depending on what they need, and using all the strategic systems and processes that I give you and teach you in order to make sure that you are giving them a productized service, and once again, onboarding and retaining them without price as a priority. Okay, so if you are a bookkeeper at the beginning of your journey, just like I once was, I know that the mistakes that you can make without the right support and processes and collateral there are so costly, all right? And yet, if you've got the support, like I imagine myself way back then, and when I was creating the program, that's exactly what I did. I imagined myself at the beginning of my journey, and I said, Jeannie, because there was a point where I reached out and I looked for help, right? And I talk about that in a podcast. And I thought, what would you have needed? Yeah, and that's actually where I came up with education, assets, implementation, team, and support. Yeah, because I remember once getting some collateral, but there was no hand holding. And I thought, yeah, I got some value, but really what would have been helpful is somebody holding my hand for the first 12 months to help me implement and practice. I thought to myself, yeah, some of it was good, but why weren't we able to leverage group marketing collateral? And that's exactly what I've done. So actually I reflected on what would have been impactful for me at the beginning of my journey. So I definitely do want you to think of return on investment and think, if I subscribe to the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program and I'm a brand new bookkeeper, yeah, because sometimes what you think is, oh, I'll start the journey and I'll try and make some money and then I'll use that money to try and fund into the program. I truly believe that you are far better subscribing to the program right at the beginning, right now, right? Because then you are not going to have to try and undo any mistakes you do. And an example of that, so one of the bonuses that we are giving you if you are a foundation member, so the doors open August 1, and if you are a foundation member, you're going to get a standalone course included in the transformation program called Hourly to Outcome Billing. Now, there are going to be a lot of bookkeepers come into the program and they have told me this already, they're going to grab that course and they're going to use that first. With all the clients that they've had for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years that are still on hourly billing, right? And so the opportunity over time to do what I did. So way back in 2015, in the space of a year, I doubled my net profits, yeah, through moving from hourly to outcome billing. And that's without increases in revenue, okay? I took tons of time off and I just focused on profitability and I doubled my net profits, okay? And so bookkeepers who have been in the game a long time, look, I absolutely built this program for them, and that course is going to be in there so that they can do the hard work involved in moving their current client base from hourly to outcome. But if you are a bookkeeper at the beginning of your journey, you don't have to make any of the mistakes. I can show you how to build a Ferrari, okay? So the answer to the question is absolutely yes. Just continuing that customer journey for a minute. So assuming that client onboards. So let's say it's a fairly small client, like one of our smaller clients that they don't need a lot, and they're signing up to pay you about, I don't know, let's say $5,000 annually, okay? And you're just doing a little bit of bookkeeping. So the customer journey then is that you need to onboard them. All of that is taught to you and done for you in the program. And I can tell you from my years of experience that we know how to onboard a client in a 5-star way, okay? And over the years, we've got feedback from clients about what they liked and what they didn't like about the onboarding. And early on, there were lots of mistakes, okay, that I just didn't even conceive of until I really understood what a prospective client needs to know as they onboard with us in order to really understand what's going on with their job and more. Okay, so there's the onboarding part of the journey, because you want to avoid buyer's remorse, okay? So even though that might sound simple, onboarding for bookkeepers is a process, yeah, that requires lots of steps. And we have all those steps sewn up for you, okay? So then they become a client and you have to deliver the work, yeah? You also have to manage your capacity. So we have all the education, assets, implementation, team and support there for you to be able to make sure that you take that client and treat them like a seed that needs to be watered and nurtured into an oak tree. Okay, so we want to make sure that you retain them for the forever client. Like we've got some clients that have been with us almost our whole journey, or we have got entire journey clients, and we want to make sure, because we see lots of bookkeepers with high churn rate and they don't understand why. So we've got done for you standard operating procedures end to end that is going to give you everything you need to deliver a platinum level of service and more. Okay, I'm only giving you a snippet, but I think it's really cool to understand the customer journey, okay, including what's next on the menu. So making sure that we are continuing to offer up succession services and more. Now, there is lots more I could tell you, but really in this podcast, I wanted to answer that question by exploring the customer journey. Love the questions coming through the Facebook group, so full of gratitude, or the email. Some of them come on the email, which is great as well. I just love hearing from my community. The more I understand about you, the more I can help you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a question you'd like answered on my podcast, please email me, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Did you know we have a private Facebook group called the Strategic Bookkeeper's Way? There you'll find bookkeepers just like you on the same journey where you can ask questions and get support. You can find more resources and how to work with me at thestrategicbookkeeper.global. All the links are in the show notes. Have a prosperous week and I'll see you in the next episode.